the first episode of Chainsaw Man finally aired, and I'm extremely happy to say that it was definitely not a disappointment. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I would go as far as to say that I loved this episode. This episode to me was perfect. From the very beginning, where you get to see Denji in that POV shot of him walking through the alleyway, I thought it just looked gorgeous. As well as all the animation behind, just all the beautiful landscapes that were animated in the background, I thought they just looked gorgeous. And I can't stress this enough. I think MAPPA needs a huge, standing ovation for all the work they put into this show, because it shows. There's a reason they got the best people in the industry working on it, because they definitely knew they had gold in their hands. And I think that now that we've seen the first episode, people can expect that same kind of quality going forward. This episode really nailed it in its execution, because I actually reread the first chapter and I'm honestly floored and shocked in just how good this first episode was in elevating the source material. A prime example of that would be when the Yakuza member is driving Denji later in the night, taking him to the warehouse. That in the manga, I didn't know it was in the night. It's unclear. So it just added some clarity to something that, the manga couldn't really have. And I thought it was great. I thought it was very good. I thought it was very awesome that it did that. As well as just the soundtrack alone, the fight scenes, the voice acting, and the animation. I thought it was just, great. Everything was perfectly done. Not to mention, the opening of this show is fucking awesome. I personally would say is one of the best openings I've ever seen in my life, solely for the fact that this opening felt like a love letter, not just to cinema, but also to all the Chainsaw Man fans out there. Because we all knew that Fujimoto was involved with the production. We didn't know to the extent, but now that I've seen the opening, I can honestly say that he was very involved with the production, because that opening screams Fujimoto. I personally think that he went with the animators behind the scenes and was like, okay, I want this done in the opening. I want this to be in the opening, and he just conceived such a crazy opening, man. Like, that opening is awesome. Not to mention there was those Easter eggs, like so you get to see the Easter eggs of Pulp Fiction. You get to see some Easter eggs regarding No Country for Old Men. You get to see some Easter eggs just of Fujimoto's favorite movies, or just movies that he appreciates a lot. We all knew that Fujimoto was a big, cinema fan, but seeing this is just, so it's just cool, man. Like, it's different, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Not to mention all the other people in the opening, like where you get to see Power and Aki, and just everybody gets a little bit of their personalities in that opening, and it's just fun. The opening to me is just a 10 out of 10. I can't stress it enough. The second I finished watching the opening, I went back to watch it again. That's how much I enjoyed it. Man, it's just crazy to think that there was they made such a cool opening, man. It just goes to show how much love they put into the show. My only nitpick of the show, to be honest, was that sometimes the CGI didn't look as good at some other times, but that's whatever. Like, it's fine. I don't care. Overall, like, if 99% of the show looks amazing and 1%, didn't stick the landing, it's fine, man. I'll forgive it. Plus, one little scene doesn't bother me, man. It's fine. Once you get 100% in all the other categories and you just get like 90% in one, it's fine, bro. Like, overall, this episode was great. Okay, let's talk about the episodes. You get to see the introduction of the MC Denji, and Denji just goes through shit, man. Like, he has literally the worst life you can possibly think of. He's an orphan. He has to hunt devils for a living, and he lives by himself. He's broke. That's how down bad Denji is, and I think it sets the tone of the story. Just seeing an MC, go through such misery. Like I said, this show is very dark, and this first episode sets the tone. And I think this show set the tone perfectly with its first episode. You know what you're getting going forward. And having read the source material, I know that it's going to be fantastic. It was great seeing Makima animated. It was great seeing Denji with Cheetah. Just hearing the voice acting all around the board was great. And I'm very excited to see next week's episode and what's more to come of the show as more and more characters get introduced. But overall, it will be a huge thumbs up. I think MAPPA knocked it out of the park. And right now, to me, MAPPA is the top dog in the anime industry. And this show definitely proves that to a T. I think they deserve a standing ovation for the great job they did on this first episode. And I can't stress this enough. This episode was a masterpiece. It did everything that an anime should do, which is elevate the source material of the manga. And it knocked it out of the park. And I'm very happy to say that. Because a lot of people were speculating that it wasn't going to live up to the hype. But to me personally, I think it not only lived up to the hype. It exceeded my expectations, which is huge thumbs up on Mappa. They knocked it out of the park. I can't praise this enough. I can't praise them enough for it. And I just gotta say thank you guys for doing such an amazing job on this first episode. I think this episode was just a masterpiece. When it comes down to the introduction, I think it was a phenomenal way to introduce people to the world of Chainsaw Man and what to expect going forward into the series. So with all that being said, Chainsaw Man to me is a 100% must-watch anime. I personally think it's gonna be anime of the year. This first episode solidifies my thoughts on that because it just nailed it. It just nailed every single thing that I was looking for. But with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know down below. Do you guys think he lived up to the hype? Were you guys disappointed? Was it not what you expected? Let me know down below and let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion about it. But anyhow, I'll see you guys next week when I review episode 2. But until then, you guys stay safe. Bye.